How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about scary GoPro footage. From a surprise volcanic eruption to a dramatic plane crash played out on camera. Join us as we take a look at 8 pieces of terrifying GoPro footage you need to see. On September 27, 2014 at around midday, Mount Ontake suddenly erupted, taking hundreds of hikers by surprise. Mount Ontake is a volcano located on the island of Honshu, Japan, around 100 kilometers northeast of Nagoya. It's a popular tourist spot with dozens of scenic hiking trails crisscrossing the mountain. In the footage we see several hikers ascending a steep ridge. In the distance you can see a gigantic plume of volcanic ash rising into the air. It gradually gets larger and larger as it takes over the blue skyline. The hikers' initial reaction seems to be one of awe as they process what exactly they're witnessing. Then, as the cloud of hot ash descends upon them, panic sets in. They begin to scramble down the slate-covered mountain before becoming consumed by smoke and debris. According to reports, there was no significant seismic activity to warn the hikers. Experts believe the eruption to be hydrovolcanic, a process by which underground water is superheated, rapidly turning into steam, ejecting gas and ash high into the air. This scary footage caught on GoPro was taken by French hikers walking through Lake Waikaremoana National Park in New Zealand in September 2015. In the footage we see the 4 tourists crossing the thin Hoporani Bridge in Hawke's Bay. As they approach the middle of the wire crossing, it suddenly kinks, throwing the hikers into the river below. They thrash and tumble in the murky water before swimming to shore. Luckily, all 4 hikers survived the incident with only minor injuries. An investigation into the incident confirmed that the bridge was designed to carry up to 10 people, however it gave way under the weight of just 4 adults. The Department of Conservation Operations Manager Mike Slater said the bridge gave way after a release of one of the cables. He assured the public that the occurrence was extremely rare. It's not known whether the hikers received compensation for their extreme close call. In mid-2013, fishermen caught some scary GoPro footage while trailing bait behind their sports fishing boat in Maryland, United States. During the clip we see half a dozen fishing lines rigged with bait trailing in the briny waters. In the distance you can just make out the snout of a shark. It holds for a moment before explosively attacking the baited lines. The shark snatches the fish and retreats into the gloomy backdrop. One by one it viciously bites the fish until they're all gone. Experts identified the shark as a mako. These ancient hunters are on record as the fastest swimming sharks in the world. They can gain 18.8 meters in just 1 second. The females of the species are the largest and can weigh over 600 kilos, which is around 1,300 pounds, with a length of 3.8 meters or around 12 feet. There were reports in 1881 in Italy of a mako shark that weighed 1,000 kilos, which is more than 2,200 pounds. Looking at this footage, it's terrifying to see how easily one of these creatures could hunt down a hapless swimmer or diver. Sticking with sharks for a moment, this GoPro photo was submitted to a thread on Reddit. It shows the terrifying moment a shark swam by a surfer's foot. Allegedly, the person who took this footage had spent the day surfing and didn't know what had happened until they reviewed their footage for the day. There in the photo is the chilling outline of a shark trailing through the water. It's barely a meter away from their legs. This terrifying moment caught on GoPro occurred on August 2014 in a rural area of Fernie, BC, Canada. In the clip we see a mountain biker's chilling encounter with a mountain lion. At first it's hard to spot the beast as it blends almost perfectly into the grassy terrain. The giant cat stalks the biker, slowly circling him, most likely sizing him up. Experts advise that if you encounter a mountain lion in the wilderness, it's best to face them and remain still. Some suggest that intense eye contact and loud shouting may convince the cougar to retreat. If you were to run, you might trigger their instinct to chase prey. However, mountain lions have prey recognition that they learn as cubs, so humans are not often attacked because they aren't part of the prey hierarchy. It's only if they feel threatened or they're injured or starving that they might attack. In the video, the biker does well to stay remarkably calm. He does exactly as experts suggest, keeping eye contact, staying front on, and waiting till the cougar loses interest. dramatic footage caught on a GoPro was released to the public in late 2014. Ferdinand Puentes captured the chilling moment this plane crash landed into the ocean. Moments after the Hawaiian flight departed the island of Molokai, the Cessna Grand Caravan experienced engine failure. One witness said it sounded like a loud bang before the plane began to descend towards the water. In the video, we see Puentes looking out the window of the plane with his GoPro. You can see the ocean fast approaching as the plane crashes into the water. The passengers remain eerily calm as water begins to rush into the cabin, everyone scrambling to put their life vests on. Moments later, after exiting the craft, you can see the passengers clinging to the wing of the plane. The pilot, cut and bleeding, orders the floating survivors to move away from the sinking plane. 7 of the 8 passengers on board survived, while State Health Director Loretta Fuddy sadly passed away prior to rescue. The crash made controversial headlines because Fuddy was the state official who verified and approved the release of former President Barack Obama's birth certificate. Some conspiracy theorists and even Donald Trump alluded that the crash was suspicious. It was later revealed that Fuddy died of congestive heart failure triggered by the accident. Check out this terrifying moment caught on GoPro in South Dakota. In the footage, we see several bikers exploring the Bulldog Trail in Black Hills. As the rider in front passes over a small gate in the fence, he notices a rattlesnake coiled up on the side of the path. He calls to his friends, alerting them of the snake. You'd think riding past an aggressive rattlesnake would be scary enough, but the cameraman decides to up the ante and provoke the deadly creature. He slides the GoPro up to the snake, it rattles its tail, warning of an impending strike. It coils, then launches at the camera lightning fast, leaving behind what looks like venom on the lens. Rattlesnakes are found throughout America and have some of the most toxic venom of all snakes in the Western Hemisphere. A bite from one of these deadly creatures can cause blood clots and necrosis of the skin, leading to convulsions, paralysis, and ultimately heart failure. Death can occur 6 to 48 hours after a bite. Let's just say it's not wise to aggravate a rattlesnake. One viewer noted that provoking the snake like that would leave it agitated and volatile for the next passing hiker, which is kind of a dick move. The rider decides to shove the camera in the snake's face not once but twice before continuing on his merry way. Now, if you thought the last rattlesnake encounter was terrifying enough, wait till you see this footage. Taken in rural Montana, US, 2 hikers stumble upon a pit of rattlesnakes and decide to film it with their GoPro. In the footage, we see the camera hover above what looks to be at least 20 or more rattlesnakes, all writhing over each other. You can hear the hum of their rattles as they warn the intruders to keep their distance. One snake becomes curious enough to investigate the camera. It stares into the lens, tongue flicking before striking the GoPro. Experts say that a rattlesnake can bite a victim at speeds of up to 1/10 of a second, leaving any animal within striking distance no chance of escape. Watching this footage, it's easy to see the frightening speed at which they can attack. Finally, one of the snakes lunges at the camera, knocking it into the pit. It sits there among the exacerbated hum of the threatened animals. In the background, you can hear the cameraman moan that he's lost his camera. Eventually, he manages to retrieve it with the handle end of a hockey stick, getting far closer to the writhing pit of snakes than most sensible people should. Apparently, this footage was taken using a handheld gimbal similar to a selfie stick, which was then taped to the end of a hockey stick. So really, at most, this makeshift device put the cameraman just meters away from these deadly creatures.
Well, that's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that big old red subscribe button, click that bell icon next to it and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll see all the latest updates from our channel. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about scary GoPro footage. From a surprise volcanic eruption to a dramatic plane crash played out on camera. Join us as we take a look at 8 pieces of terrifying GoPro footage you need to... How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some insane CCTV footage. From a freewheeling car tyre that disrupted a business meeting to the moment a baby fell from a 2-story window ledge. Join us as we take a look at 10 crazy moments caught on CCTV.
Watch as this parking lot security door gets the better of this car. There's not a lot of solid information about this clip. It's not known where this took place, but it appears to be at the entrance of a public parking lot. In the footage, we see a car approach a closed security door. It pauses for a moment as a passenger hastily exits the vehicle. Then it rams right through the wire gate, much to the dismay of the escaped passenger. For some reason, the car reverses back into the gate, this time connecting with the back of the car, bizarrely lifting it into the air. The driver attempts this 2 more times, each time lifting the rear of the vehicle into the air. Finally, he grows impatient and reverses at speed, fully flipping the car upside down. It's not known whether the men were robbing the place or drunk or possibly both. Either way, it makes for some very entertaining footage caught on CCTV. This is some crazy footage caught on CCTV in Adana, Turkey in April 2017. Over multiple security cameras, we see dramatic images of a dislodged tyre bounce down the road only to disrupt what looks like a very serious business meeting in a pharmacy. Owner Abdul Kadir Urdev said he was chatting to 2 men in his pharmacy when suddenly the rogue tyre burst into the store, scraping one of the men. According to witnesses, the tyre became dislodged after a nearby accident took place up the road. Upon impact, the tyre gained momentum, rolling at speed down the street, hitting the curb, which made it change direction toward the storefront. The men escaped with only minor injuries. In February 2016, a CCTV camera in a gas station in Kentucky captured the moment when an e-cigarette exploded in a man's pocket. In the video, we see a man by the name of Josh Hamilton walk up to the counter to pay for his fuel. As he reaches into his pocket to pay, the e-cigarette ignites, spitting sparks and flames out of his pants. He runs outside, patting himself down in an effort to stop the explosion. Luckily, the quick-thinking clerk follows Hamilton with a fire extinguisher. Hamilton was admitted to a local hospital with burns to his thigh and abdomen. This is some hilarious footage taken way back in 2008. Caught on security camera at an unknown Target warehouse in the United States, we see an employee handling a pedestrian stacker. He lifts the fork high into the air, colliding with the warehouse's sprinkler system. Water begins to rain down from the roof. What happens next is almost something out of a Benny Hill sketch. First, the employee tries moving a pallet of stock away from the spraying water. Then he finds a ladder to reach the broken sprinkler system. He tinkers with the pipe, using a wrench to quell the deluge of water. At first, it proves quite effective as the water almost completely stops. However, the employee doesn't seem fully satisfied and gives the wrench one last yank for good measure. As he pulls, the entire pipe bursts, knocking him off the ladder. A torrent of liquid floods down from the roof, the warehouse floor becoming inundated with water. The perpetrator and fellow employees stand by dumbfounded, helpless to do anything. Sticking with broken sprinkler systems, this quick-thinking woman tried staging an injury in the hope of getting workers' compensation. Taken on CCTV in an office in Fort Lauderdale, we see Shayla Veronica White working away at her desk when a piece of pipe from the roof sprinkler system falls in front of her. Startled, she stares at it for a moment. Suddenly, she picks the piece of metal up and hits herself in the head. She grasps her forehead in pain. White went to her boss claiming that the sprinkler had fallen onto her head. She was hoping to get a payout from the employer's insurance company. Suspicious of the accident, the insurance company, along with the state authorities, reviewed the CCTV footage to see what had happened. And there, clear as day, was evidence that White smashed herself in the head with the faulty sprinkler piece. White was convicted of fraud and given 18 months probation. In April 2011, a CCTV camera caught this hilarious footage of a thieves' failed getaway. Taken at the Easy Food store in Lake Wales, Florida, the footage shows a thief trying his best to steal 2 cases of beer. As he runs towards the getaway car, his pants fall down, foiling the heist completely. He trips up, falling face first into the pavement. The cans of beer scatter everywhere, spraying their contents on the ground. Shortly after, the clerk of the store comes running out, but the thieves speed away without their loot. It's not known whether they were later arrested. A CCTV camera in China has filmed the terrifying moment a baby fell from a two-story apartment. In the video, we see two men in Zhongshan City in China's Guangdong province looking up horrified as a one-year-old baby sits precariously on a ledge 2 stories high. Pouring rain saturates the onlookers as they brace for the worst. Several witnesses even place cardboard and other objects on the ground to soften the impact of the falling child. A look of panic sets in on the men's faces as the baby slips off the edge of the window. They position themselves with outstretched hands, hoping to catch the plummeting infant. Suddenly, from off camera, we see the child fall safely into one of the men's hands. It's thought that the baby crawled out onto the windowsill looking for its mother. Mr. Lee, the man who caught the child, said, "I didn't think too much at the time. I was just afraid of failing to catch him. It was nothing but instinct." At the end of the footage, we see the infant given to a young woman thought to be the mother of the child. She runs off, cradling the baby. This would have to be one of the stupidest crimes ever committed. In January 2017, a man in Mandurah, Western Australia was caught stealing a CCTV camera while it filmed him committing the theft. Unfortunately, the footage hasn't been released to the public, but police did reveal this photo. Allegedly, the man walks straight up to the camera, shows his entire face along with a very distinctive tattoo on his bicep, then proceeds to steal the CCTV camera while it films every minute of it. It's not known what happened after the incident, but one would think a rather hasty arrest was made. A security camera in Turkey's Marmara province of Sakarya has captured the startling moment a pack of stray dogs rip apart a car. In the footage, taken around mid-2016, we see up to 9 dogs take an interest in a white hatchback in a suburban street. It's thought that they were looking for a stray cat that had taken refuge inside the engine bay of the car. At first, they surround the vehicle, clearly alerted to something hidden inside. One dog begins to pull at the front bumper, tearing half of it off. Another dog sticks its head under the bonnet looking for their prey. Then, finally, they manage to tear the entire bumper off the car. The following morning, owner Sem Achar was shocked to discover his vehicle pulled apart. He notified police thinking his car had been vandalised by a local gang. However, when the authorities reviewed the CCTV footage, they were shocked to see the pack of stray dogs viciously dismantling the car. In 2012, this bar worker got the fright of his life when he fell down an open trapdoor in the King William IV pub near London. In the footage, we see worker Owen operating the sound on an open mic night. He casually walks behind the bar, distracted by his phone and a nearby TV, before plummeting down the exposed hole. Staff and patrons rush to his aid, but bizarrely, one worker takes a look down the hole, then just shuts the door and walks off. According to the Daily Mail, the hole is actually an elevator shaft used to bring up fresh linen to the bar. It's not known why the door was open at the time or why on earth you'd build such a death trap right where people regularly walk. I guess that's why they call them trapdoors. Owen fell 10 feet and hit the top of the elevator at the bottom of the shaft. Despite a dramatic fall, he only suffered a sprained ankle and some local bruising.
Well, there's another episode down. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on channel notifications so you get all our latest updates. Leave us a comment down below if you're enjoying the content. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about the most terrifyingly haunted places in Canada. From the Whooping Woods to the ghost of a boy who drowned in a high school swimming pool. We count 10 of the most haunted places in Canada.
Deep in a forest in central New Brunswick, Canada, the ghost of a murdered logger reportedly cries out in the night. The story follows a man known as Ryan who worked as a cook at a logging camp in the Dungarvan Woods in Blackville. One day he was left alone with the boss of the camp as the other loggers all went out into the forest. When the loggers returned, they discovered that Ryan had been murdered, the boss claiming he suddenly became ill and died. They buried him nearby, and that night screams and loud whooping noises echoed through the camp. The noises continued through the next day, and the camp was ultimately abandoned. Years later, when a different group of loggers wanted to use the camp, they started hearing the same noises. Eventually, a priest was brought in to put Ryan's spirit to rest. Here accounts differ. Some reports say the screams stopped and the priest was successful, but others say when the skeleton was unearthed and the priest began his work, the screams only got louder and the priest ran away. Screams and whoops are still reported to be heard in the forest today. Seal Island is located off the coast of Nova Scotia and is haunted by a woman named Annie Lindsay. Lindsay was a stewardess aboard the SS Ottawa, which was shipwrecked near Seal Island. She drowned in the lifeboat while trying to reach safety. Several days later, she was buried on the island. Her ghost has been seen many times wandering on the island. Her spirit stands on the shore looking ominously out to sea before vanishing. Reportedly, when her grave was disinterred, there was evidence that she had been buried alive. In June 1813, the ship Young Teaser sank in Mahone Bay. While being chased by British warships, it's thought that a crew member deliberately blew up the hull, setting the ship aflame. The crew was forced to abandon ship, leaving it to sink in the bay. As many as 30 crew members died from the accident. The survivors were badly burnt and clinging to debris when they were rescued by people from the local village. For years, there have been many sightings of the ship re-sinking, the event referred to as Teaser's Light. Sightings increase in their frequency around the anniversary of the ship's tragic accident. Montreal has numerous haunted locations, the most famous being the Auberge Le Saint Gabriel Inn. Built in 1754, the inn is the oldest in North America. In the early 19th century, the building caught fire. Tragically, a young girl was trapped in one of the burning rooms and lost her life. Since that fateful day, she's been seen by many people throughout the years. Guests often report seeing her down the end of the Auberge's long dark hallways. She stares at them, then disappears eerily through the wall. The Fairmont Empress Hotel, located on Vancouver Island, is notorious for its ghosts. It was named one of the world's most famous hotels by Reader's Digest. There are reports that the architect of the hotel, Francis Rattenbury, still wanders around the hotel, his spirit eternally attached to the property. Then there's the ghost of Lizzie McGrath, a chambermaid who tragically fell to her death. One day, while cleaning one of the rooms, she attempted to step out onto the fire escape, but instead plummeted several stories to the ground below. Unknown to her, the fire escape had been removed for construction and repairs. Now some guests say they've heard terrible screams outside their windows. And probably the most unsettling of all, an unnamed elderly woman is said to knock on people's doors. She urgently leads guests to the elevator where she disappears into thin air. The Fairmont Banff Springs is a castle surrounded by the Canadian Rockies mountain range. It's known for several notorious ghost sightings. In the 1920s, a young bride-to-be was staying at the property. One afternoon, she was descending a staircase in her wedding dress when she was startled. She tripped and fell to her death. Since then, staff and guests have reportedly seen her around the halls, on the staircase, and even in the ballroom. Some say she stands expectantly in her pristine white dress, waiting for her wedding day that will never come. The new Westminster Secondary School is haunted by several ghosts, mostly by former students. In the 1970s, a boy drowned in the school pool. Since then, several security guards have reported seeing the corpse of a boy floating in the water. Whenever anyone tries to rescue the boy, his body vanishes into the waters below. Then there's the ghost of a boy who died in the woodwork shop in the mid-1980s. Allegedly, there is security footage of a young boy wandering the room during the middle of the night. The Tranquil Sanatorium was built in British Columbia in 1907. Until 1958, the facility was used to treat people with tuberculosis. However, the facility closed that year. Around a year later, it was reopened as a mental health facility. It closed again 30 years later and was bought by a dairy company. After realizing that the sanatorium was haunted, they started hosting excursions of the property. During the tours, past patients have been seen wandering the halls, strange whispers have been heard, and there's even been several reports of glowing orbs throughout the building and grounds. The Craigderich Castle was built in British Columbia in the last half of the 19th century by a Scottish immigrant. He and his wife had a large family of 10 children. There are many reported sightings of ghosts in the castle. Crying children can be inexplicably heard, as well as spectral music playing throughout the halls. Visitors have reported whispering voices coming from seemingly nowhere as they wander the castle. Ghostly infants have been seen disappearing in the castle, as well as the spirit of a little girl and a woman in a white dress. In 1879, at 242 William Street, Montreal, Canada, Susan Kennedy went on a murderous rampage. After a fit of jealousy, she killed several people, including close friend Mary Gallagher. Since that tragic day, there have been several ghost sightings throughout the building. It is said that the spirit of Mary Gallagher wanders the halls of this old property. Every 7 years, her decapitated body appears stumbling about looking for its head.
Well, there's another episode down. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button right there, or the red one down below. Remember to give us an upward facing thumb if you enjoyed the content. Leave us a comment down below as well. We love reading them. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at shocking UFO sightings caught on tape. From a bizarre rectangle UFO floating over China to some footage captured by the Chilean Navy that's left experts dumbfounded. Join us as we take a look at 10 UFO sightings you need to see.
This striking footage emerged in August 2017, filmed by several residents in Jinan, the capital of China's eastern province, Shandong. There in the sky is a bizarre rectangle shape hovering above the clouds. Two separate cameras captured the same sighting, as well as numerous residents all saying they saw the same strange shape flying in the sky. When the footage was posted on August 13, many took to Weibo, a social media site in China, to discuss the incident. Some say it was the door to heaven opening up, while others thought it looked like a glowing magic carpet. According to local reports, the phenomenon may have just been spotlights projecting onto the clouds in the night sky. While it does look very similar to a spotlight, normally you can detect a trail of light to the point of origin. This looks to be illuminated from behind an object. Whatever the case may be, it makes for an amazing piece of footage that still remains a mystery today. On a warm Tuesday morning on the 21st of February 2017, a UFO passed over Tasmania, Australia. The object looked like it was on fire as it streaked across the sky. Filmed by hundreds of eyewitnesses, the strange glowing object sparked fierce online debate. In the video, we see a bright yellow streak trailing in the morning sky. It looks like it's a flame, almost like a meteorite entering the atmosphere. When the video was shared to Facebook, it garnered thousands of views within days. Many polarizing theories were suggested, from space junk, fireball meteorites and contrails to fairies and alien visitors. Official reports said the incident was nothing more than an aircraft as it passed over Australian airspace. However, this did little to satiate witness theories, with many heralding the incident as aliens visiting from outer space. This mass UFO sighting occurred on July 23, 2011 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The incident was reported by dozens of eyewitnesses and even caught the attention of a local news report. Up to 4 separate pieces of footage were publicly released, all capturing the same strange circular shape floating in the sky. In the first video, we see a blue orb of light surrounded by a wheel of smaller, rotating white lights. Skeptics have noted that the grainy footage may be nothing more than a Ferris wheel filmed by a tilted camera. However, in the second eyewitness's video, we see the same orbiting lights from a different angle. This perspective shows the object from the side. The rotating lights seem to form a disc shape. This angle makes it easier to see that the lights are floating in the sky. If we take a look at the third piece of footage, it shows the object has stopped spinning and is now all white. The interesting thing about this viewpoint is that the camera zooms out, showing that the UFO is actually really far away, becoming just a single dot when fully zoomed out. Finally, the fourth eyewitness's footage is different again. This time the object seems to have formed a triangular formation with a blue and green hue. This is some bizarre footage that was uploaded to YouTube back in 2007. For this video, we used the literal sense of the acronym UFO, as in it's an unidentified flying object. It's not necessarily alien in origin, but it's a flying craft of a speculative nature. In the clip, we see a man flying around in a small craft not much larger than an average-sized wheelie bin. It has a fan jet engine on the bottom and has 2 landing feet similar to a helicopter. The video states that the craft is known as a WASP, an experimental vertical takeoff and landing system developed in the 1970s under the supervision of the US military. It can fly for 30 to 45 minutes at a maximum speed of out of Salento, Italy. A local man noticed something strange in the sky at around 8 PM local time. He filmed the bizarre object with his smartphone. On the footage vary greatly. Some commentators thought that perhaps the smartphone that the clip was filmed on distorted the image when it zoomed in, creating that strange halo effect. Others thought it could be Venus. Another user heralded the footage as the arrival of the sphere beings, creatures from another planet that he says visit him frequently. Whatever the case may be, it's still an amazing piece of footage. Could it be that aliens are observing our planet, or is this just a technological malfunction? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. There's not a lot of solid information to go on with this clip. It began appearing on YouTube in 2015. It claims to be filmed somewhere in Hawaii, however several channels report different dates for the sighting. In the video, we see a large cylinder-shaped white UFO floating in the sky. Around the center object are half a dozen or so flashing lights. They pulse in and out of sight, darting here and there in the blue sky. The bigger object begins to move downward before flashing out of view. The other objects continue to pulse before darting quickly to the right of screen. It's hard to make further comment on this video as there's very little else to go on. The person who captured the footage has never come forward, plus the differing dates and lack of precise location err this footage on the side of a hoax. If anyone has any information on this footage, leave a comment down below. This astonishing footage baffled government officials for more than 2 years and was officially released to the public in early 2017. This clip was filmed on November 11, 2014 by a Chilean Navy helicopter pilot. An accompanying technician also witnessed the event and was at the time testing an infrared camera. In the footage, we see a disc-shaped object trailing across the sky. It flies at a similar altitude and trajectory of the helicopter. At 2 separate times, the UFO discharges a trail of hot liquid. The object could be seen by the naked eye and by infrared camera. However, the helicopter's radar detected no nearby craft. After the technician reported the sighting, air traffic control confirmed that there was no aircraft planned to fly in that airspace at that time, nor could they detect anything flying at that time. The pilot made several attempts to contact the craft using the multinational civilian bandwidth, which is designed for these occasions. There was no answer. An official investigation was launched by the CEFAA, a specialized Chilean government agency which examines UFOs and UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. After an exhaustive inquiry, the agency couldn't come to any definite conclusions. This footage is considered to be some of the most significant UFO footage ever captured. The 2 highly reliable Navy witnesses, the quality footage filmed on military-grade equipment, the fact that it goes for 9 minutes all amounts to some of the most compelling evidence of the existence of extraterrestrials. This footage was captured in mid-2016 by a pilot flying over Chicago, Illinois. In the video, we see 3 glowing balls of light. They fly in a triangle formation right next to the plane. The 3 orbs shift about in the air effortlessly before taking off at great speeds towards the bottom of the screen. The maneuverability of the objects is far too agile for it to be other commercial aircraft or even military fighter jets. Reactions to this viral video vary, from reflections on the window, weather phenomenon and lightning, to angels and enlightened flying beings. What do you think this pilot has captured? Could this be proof of aliens from another planet? In early 2011, 2 motorists in Sao Paulo, Brazil captured this startling footage of a UFO hiding behind a cloud. Submitted to a local TV station, G1, the video garnered significant media attention. In the clip, we see a floating object hovering just behind a cloud. It holds there for around 60 seconds before taking off in a dazzling light display. The two witnesses were gobsmacked at the incident. According to the TV report, the cameraman felt the earth shake the moment the UFO flashed out of sight. However, there was no recorded seismic activity at the time the event took place. Skeptics claim if you analyse frames of the footage right as the truck passes in the clip, there are noticeable alterations that aren't visible to the naked eye. However, the two eyewitnesses maintain the authenticity of the footage. A mass UFO sighting occurred in the skies over Cornwall, England in July 2017. Numerous people captured footage of a strange shape-shifting object hovering in the sky. The phenomena happened over several days, with dozens of witnesses reporting the event. The first sighting occurred on Monday, July 18th, when surfer Kiefer Krishnan posted his GoPro footage to Instagram. Photographer Shane House was the second to come forward with amazing footage of the object hovering above the A30 freeway. The UFO seems to shimmer in and out of visibility against the cloudy English sky. Next, a Twitter user by the name of Harry Wild posted his version of events on Fistral Beach. Again, the same strange shimmering shape floating through the sky. Many responded to the tweet, noting that it looked like a swarm of birds or insects drifting through the air. 3 more sightings occurred on the Tuesday, all showing the exact same object in the sky. Many news outlets around England were quick to point out that the footage may be a planned hoax orchestrated by a local conservationist initiative. The Eden Project is a series of gigantic greenhouse domes that house exotic plants and various exhibitions in Cornwall. At the time of the UFO sightings, the Eden Project was hosting an event called Alien Encounter. While they never officially owned up to the publicity stunt, it seems likely that they were the culprits.
Hello Ham Fam, how you all doing? I just wanted to let you know, last week I sat down with Tim from Super Mayhem and he interviewed me about my life, my gaming habits and whether I like to be chained or whipped. If you want to find out the answer to that question, you can find a link to the interview in a description box below. One should pop up right here now as well. Check it out, it's a lot of fun. Well, there's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying our content, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, remember to subscribe because we do stuff like this each and every week. And that's it from me. I'll see you all next time. Pew! How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're talking about witches. From the multiple sightings of witches throughout Mexico to the blood-sucking bruja of Colombian folklore, we take a look at 9 witches caught on camera.
This footage surfaced in 2011. Filmed in Guanajuato, Mexico, a town known for its silver mining and colonial architecture, 2 men spot something terrifying. In an open field at the back of a farm, a strange creature can be seen flying through the air. The man filming yells bruja, which is the Spanish word for witch or sorceress. The unknown creature glides through the air effortlessly and at one point begins chasing one of the men through the field. Practitioners of black magic and members of the occult have long been reported in rural areas of Mexico. Could this video be proof of witchcraft? This footage began circulating in mid-2017. Filmed in Mexico City, it shows a shadowy humanoid figure flying through the sky. The footage was captured on a phone camera by school children during their soccer training. At first, several of the kids laugh nervously as they don't know how to identify the flying figure. Then someone in the crowd screams. There are as many as a dozen witnesses who dubbed the creature a witch, including a gobsmacked teacher who watches on with his students. This footage was captured in the 1970s by German journalist Ralph Olsen, who travelled to Africa. As he travelled through rural villages, he got word of a powerful shaman that lived in the nearby hills. He visited the shaman's campsite and captured this stunning footage. First, the shaman performs a sacred ritual, creating a ring of fire. His acolytes begin chanting as he slowly lifts off the ground, holds for a moment in mid-air, then returns back down. He repeats this process a number of times. When Olsen returned from his trip with the footage, he was ousted from the broadcasting community as a joke, his reputation left in tatters. Decades later, he maintained that the footage was real and was in no way tampered with. What do you think? Is this shaman really levitating, or is the fire a ploy to keep people at a distance so it's harder to see what's going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. There's not a lot of solid information about this clip. All that's known is that the footage was captured by a security camera at Indemil, a military-grade weapons manufacturer in Colombia. One evening, the security team spotted a strange figure lurking around the government-run facility. The footage shows a hunched-over figure limp into the compound. It looks like it's wearing a black cape as it ducks in and out of the shadows. The clip spread quickly around South American social media, many claiming it to be a witch-like creature from Colombian mythology. Others simply dismissed it as a mangy dog looking for food. While this isn't footage of a witch, many have speculated that this young girl was the target of black magic or witchcraft. Several years ago, the girl seen in this clip kept waking up with bruising all over her body. She couldn't explain what was happening, so she decided to set up a camera to film her movements while she slept. What the camera captured is unsettling to say the least. You can see clearly the girl rise out of her bed, float in the air for a moment, then lower back down. When this footage was uploaded to YouTube back in 2009, it swept through social media and forums, begging the question, is it real? The video was recorded by a man in Russia walking his dog through the woods. Everything seems normal until the dog pauses for a moment as if something's wrong. It begins to bark and runs off down a trail. When the man catches up to his dog, he sees something startling. There in the forest is a girl levitating in the air as a friend watches on. Once they realise they've been spotted, the two girls run out of sight. The short, unattributed clip led many to speculate that the girls were practicing witchcraft deep in the woods. Others have simply labelled the video a hoax. Whatever the case may be, it's still a remarkable piece of footage that remains a mystery to this day. In some areas of Colombia, there are tales of a vampire witch woman that feeds on the blood of livestock and wild animals. This footage claims to be a glimpse of one such creature. Taken sometime in early 2013, this footage was captured by a hunter out with his dogs. He claims he was searching a rural property for evidence of the strange blood-sucking witch. In the clip, it's obvious that the dogs pick up the scent of an animal as they begin barking wildly. They hone in on some dense shrubs where suddenly a strange-looking creature lunges out of the dark. The dogs snap and snarl, the hunter takes a shot and brings down the beast. If you slow it down, it's clear some kind of unidentified creature launches out of the darkness, hissing at the dogs. Unfortunately, that's where the footage ends, and there's no further testimony to verify what was lurking in the bushes. Was this just a case of granular footage making it hard to see what happened, or was this La Tunda, the blood-sucking witch from Colombian folklore? Filmed in Monterrey, Mexico, this footage came to light in mid-2017. Initially, it was shared to the Facebook page of a paranormal radio show that airs in the US and Mexico. It claims to be proof of a flying witch that manifests into a magical ball of fire. The family claimed they were spending a quiet evening at home when they heard strange noises. Upon investigating with their camera, they captured this startling footage. Social media was divided when the footage went viral. Some claim it's proof of a coven of witches that have been reported to torment the area. Others say it's merely a lantern that's been set on fire lifting into the air. In the town of Monterrey in the Mexican state of Nuevo Leon, reports of bruja or witches began surfacing around the city. Then in May 2006, this striking footage was released to the public. The local media ran with the story, calling it a UFO, but in the acronym's true sense, a literal unidentified flying object. Quickly it was dubbed the Witch of Monterrey, and the story spread like wildfire. In the footage, we clearly see a strange black humanoid figure floating across the mountain range in a straight line. Several days later, 2 police officers claimed they were attacked by 2 hooded creatures in a nearby cemetery. One of the officers said they saw the mysterious beings flying in circles above the graveyard before being attacked. The cemetery is located right under the flight path of the figure seen in this video. Many locals claim witches have haunted the area for centuries, and with the 2 testimonies from police officers along with this footage, one has to wonder what is going on in the city of Monterrey, Mexico.
Well, that was a little bit terrifying. That's the end of the episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right there or the red one down below. If you're a regular, leave us a comment. We love reading them. Hit that upward facing thumb as well. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time. Pew!